Hi guys, John with you, and we're back with the figures. Yes, we're back with the figures, and where I left you off the last time is basically like this. I had one figure done. Where did we go? I think we were going to our saluting man. Okay, we decided on him. Even though in the video we showed him building this guy, I've decided to kind of carry on with this chap here for, just I suppose what we call it, just for shits and giggles. Purely it's easier to get at the few little bits and pieces that are on him. Like I said, now we're going to do a little bit of detail painting, and we're going to do the final. We're going to do the weathering as well. And we're going to get him finished off. Okay. Now the reason I'm doing this video really is to get your figures to an acceptable level. Okay, just a basic level with your figures, and if you want to do minimum work to your figures but still get them looking good. This is what this video is going to do. It's not going to go into sort of super detail on how to do, pinstriping and, eyes and lips and blush in the face and, getting around all the different shades and, getting a nice highlights and lowlights and blue lights and green lights. This is just getting them to an simple, acceptable level. Okay. Now when I started off doing the figures, I left them at that. Okay, and they're actually grand. It's better than sort of making a hames of it. But this is just another little bit, just to make them stand out just a little bit better. Okay. Now, a couple of little things we're going to use in this video. Right. One of the things you need is you'll need some kitchen roll. You will need a toothpick. Yes, a toothpick, or some people call them, what do people call these things? I call them toothpick, cocktail stick, that kind of thing, right? Little wooden pointy ow stick. Okay, need one of them. You will need some buff paint. Okay, XF57 buff from Tamiya. You will need, where are we? Where's my other little one? Here we go. You'll need some silver paint. Okay. Now you can use this type, war paints, or you can use Tamiya paints. I do have one up there. I didn't take it down because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use this one. Here we go. You can use something like that. It's flat aluminium, which is XF16. Okay, actually I'll use, start off with Tamiya, so I'm going to use the Tamiya. Away, Mr. Warpaints, right? We will need a little container. We've used them before. We will also need some black oil paint. We will need some cheap brand white spirit. What else will we use? Oh yes, we will need flat brush. Okay, an old one will do. Doesn't have to be a new one. Okay, it can come in all shapes and sizes. A bigger one. Okay, so flat brush. That's really just about it. Okay, so we're going to get our figure out again. Okay, Mr. Saluting Man, or Mr. Looking Up into the Sunshine chap. Now there are lots more you can do with the face. Okay, you can add a little bit of red, say, into the flesh mix, and give him sort of a little bit of redness on his cheeks. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that in this video. Like I said, I'm just going to keep them pure and basic, just for this video alone. Okay, now for this video we're just going to start off. We're going to use a flat aluminium. This is basically for his badges. Okay, now the badges this guy has. Now that was really the reason I used these figures, is because they don't have loads of accessories hanging out of them. Okay, now if they're sort of infantry soldiers, you're going to have maybe some webbing equipment. You're going to have a rifle and all that. And the painting technique for doing a figure, it'll be the exact same if you're going to do a rifle, webbing, things like that. Just paint them the base colour, and then you can use the dry brushing effect, which I'm going to show you in a minute. You can use that on them, and that'll kind of make them look a little bit weathered. And then if you want to get more advanced, then start playing around with them at that stage. But that's for, say, further down along the line. But if you just want to get your figures that when you stick them beside your model, they're acceptable, right? And that's what we're trying to get it to. Get it to an acceptable level. Okay, nothing exceptional, not stand out and going, oh wow, these are totally brilliant artistic figures. No, not like that. This is to get them to somewhere, for the unskilled painter, get them to a stage where you're happy enough with them. Okay, now start off so with our silver. What we're going to do is, and we use a toothpick for this, yes, a toothpick, not a paintbrush. Okay, now if you look in this figure here, right, you get him, whoa, well done, John. Get him into shot there now. Right, as you can see on his uniform there, he's got the little German eagle there, and the swastika underneath it. Okay, doesn't really have anything else, but he's got two little collar boards there, right in the collar. Now, you're not going to try and make them look as if they're perfectly painted in. Okay? Remember, what you're going for, what I'm going for, is the effect, not the, not perfection. But you're trying to get them to a stage where, when you look at it from a distance, now we're not talking about the far side of the room, okay, from about a foot or 2 foot away, okay, it used to be known as the 2 foot rule. If it looks good at 2 feet away, then they'll do, okay, they're acceptable then at that stage. You can go on further, like I said, and you can kind of, if you're good at your painting, you can go off and watch other people's tutorials where they're going to teach you how to do flesh blending and making them look 100% freaking realistic, right? But this isn't one of those. This is just a quite simple, basic one. Get them to an acceptable level. I'm going to stop saying getting them to an acceptable level now. I can't get overboard, right? So with our silver paint, get it on your toothpick. Okay. Now, and just dab it. A little bit of the toothpick again. And dab it. The reason I'm using a toothpick now rather than a brush is just to have that little bit more control. Okay. And don't try to say use it like a paintbrush. As in, don't brush it. Dab it. Okay. And there we go. There's his badge on. Simple as that. Okay, and when you look at him then from a distance, you can see that he's got the badge. That's all we're going for. That is all we're going for. Same now with his collar boards. Dab, 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 dab. And dab, dab. Okay. So, straight away then, But just those two little things, those three little places, okay? Straight away he's more interesting, okay? More interesting. That's what you want to do. You just want to make them that little bit interesting, okay? You don't want them to look too plain or anything like that. You just want them to be interesting. Now, he's got a little badge on his hat as well, and it's right across the top. So, again, just give it a little dab. Don't have to be precise, don't have to be perfect, just give it a little dab. So when you look at it from a distance, again, or 2 foot or 12 inches or so, which is 1 foot jump, he just looks better than, say, this chap here, which is plain. Okay, see, straight away. It puts a little bit of character into it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do? Now we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing. And remember what I said at the start of these models, is that buff is brilliant for dry brushing. Now, it's brilliant for getting the effect that I'm going for, okay, which is a little bit of dust, and it'll kind of highlight dark and light areas by not going into, just going on all the raised areas. It'll just emphasize that there are creases in it, okay. You can, like as I said, you can go playing around with these yourself, and then develop your own little technique for getting a bit of shade into creases. Okay, you can paint all these in. That was in the dark recesses. See along his trousers there, those little dark recesses. Okay, you could use, say, flat black, thin brush, and paint into those, just a little into the dark. So then when you look at him, you can see the light and dark. I don't bother with that. Like I said, I'm a bluffer when it comes to painting figures. But people always ask me, geez, your figures look great, how do you do it, and things like that. And this is it. This is all I do. Okay. I don't go overboard at all. Right, for dry brushing, let's turn the camera down a little bit. Okay. Now, what you do is you dip your brush into the paint. I always like to kind of use the lid again. Okay. Remember, we use the lid in the painting. So the tiniest little bit of paint on your brush. Once you get your paint on your brush, scrape off the excess into the bottle. Scrape it all back in. And then brush the rest of it off on your bit of tissue. Okay? And you don't want to remove every single piece. You just want it that it's not really staining anymore. Okay? So, now we're back to our figure. Now, I really wanted this to come out grand, so we'll play around with the light there until we get the light right. Right, now be very, very light with your brush. Don't go heavy. Okay. Nice light-handed. Brush it off your figure. And don't forget his hat. And of course his boots as well. And that is one of the main reasons. See the way the boot, even with the boots and the laces and all that come out. That is one of the reasons I do not like using the bad old figures, because that effect will not come out, because they're usually badly moulded and they don't look good at all. But there we go. Now look at that already. Now he's starting to look quite interesting, isn't he? So, final step, final little step. We're using this yuck here, and I forgot about one more brush. We need one more brush. What will we do? Yeah, that one will do. Reasonably small brush. Okay, that's for our wash. So what we're going to do is a small bit of spirit. Always fine. Pour it into the lid. You can kind of control then. You're giving it sort of a second pour then into your container that you're going to make your wash in. So you have more control over how much you use. If I just pour that straight from the bottle into that, might blop out. Might get too much. Waste. Don't waste. Waste not, want not. Okay. So now we're going to make down a bit of a wash. Now we're going to make it down in two different goes. Easiest thing to call it. I just couldn't think of a right word for it. Okay, we're going to make a very, very light wash, and we're also going to make it slightly darker again then. Right? The very, very light wash is for his skin. Okay, really, really light. As you can see now how light that was. Right, put on a bit of paper. Right, just barely touch your brush into the onto the oil pen, and when you go into a bit of tissue paper, see it? It's not that black at all. It's actually quite light. Okay. Now this is going to be for his skin. Now see his hands there. Okay. You can see his fingers, but you can't really define them or anything like that. So, with your light bit of wash, right? On his face. Now, to be quite honest with you, I want that just a little bit darker. But remember, you can always darken it. It's not easy. It's not so easy to sort of go the opposite way, having it too dark and to lighten it up. So another bit of black oil painting onto your tissue. Just a little bit darker now this time. Okay. Now I'm going to use. I'm going to use the same brush. I was going to use a smaller brush just for as I say, for shits and giggles. Okay. There we go. I'm happy with that. look at his face and his hands. See? Remember I said I don't paint eyes, but when you look at that from a little bit of a distance, he looks as if he's got eyes. Okay, so now we get our second layer of wash, shall we say. Just another little bit. And back into it again. We want it slightly darker now because we want this for his uniform. And basically the figure in general, the whole figure, apart from his hands and his face. Right. Again, onto our tissue, and we see that it's darker again, right? That's why it's so important. Well, that's why you sort of do the dry brushing first, before the wash. There we go. Forgot that when you use white spirit, it takes the stickiness off those thingy-majiggies. Okay, so there we go. There is now our figure. Bit shiny, but that shininess will go away once the white spirit evaporates. But just leave him in a place for him to dry. And like I said, it won't stick back on the sticky pad if you use that type of sticky pads. Okay, so there he is. There's our figure. And we'll put him beside, actually, maybe lift the camera back up again. And we look at the two figures side by side to see the difference that we're after doing. Oh, not so easy. Not so easy. I could do it a couple more hands. Damn you, God, why did you only give me 2 hands? Right, so these are our first figures. Right. We've transformed that then into that. And like I said, then I'm going to show these on the next video that is with our tank. Okay, we're doing the elephant with these guys. When we come back to the elephant, because these guys will be going onto it, and you'll see in those videos how these chaps will look once they're dry. Again, it's a pity I don't have sort of proper editing software then to be able to see them much easier. I could kind of leave them dry for an hour or two, come back then take another little clip. But there we go. There's our chap all nice and finished off. And like I said, you don't have to go to any major there we go. You don't have to go into any major art college or anything like that to get a decent effect on your figures. Like I said, when the white spirit evaporates, it will actually go a little bit not so dark, if you know what I mean, into the washes, into the crevices, should I say, sorry. But yeah, I'm happy with him now, and he's much better than a bad figure. Quite simple. You don't have to go mental. You don't have to be an artist. You just have to give them just a basic go. And as you can see from in this video and the last one, how basic we've actually been with these, and then you can get that effect. So you can imagine, let's go further. Let's put in darkness, lightness. Let's get the colours right, add their bits and pieces to them. If you watch say other people's tutorials on painting figures, and give it a go at going the faces. But if you can't get your faces and you can't get your fleshes right and this, that and the other shades and things, come right then to this method. It's quite simple. So what you do really is you get your figure painted, basically, get the normal colours on, do up the little bits of detail that are on them, quick dry brush and a black wash, and ta-da! Nothing extravagant, nothing exciting, but you end up with a nice figure. So that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Actually, I've decided I will do one more video tomorrow night onto them. Okay, because sometimes what happens is they get a bit shiny. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the figures, all four of them, when they're nice and dry. Show the effect of the of that wash, because it is still a bit wet and it's hard to actually see. So join me for the next video where we'll see what they actually finally finish up at. If they're shiny, we'll give them a blast of a dull coat, but I don't think we'll need a dull coat. I think they'll go quite okay. So join me for the next one where we're going to see what they, once they're dried out, what they look like. And don't forget, in the comments box below, let me know what you think. Is this idea for you, or are you a bit more artistic and think you can do better? If you can do better, then off you go and do it. You know what I mean? Go there. Chance it. Try it. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try, and you might pick up something new. Okay, and if, like I said, again, if you're of the have a bit of an artistic talent, watch some of the figure painting tutorials of guys that really know how to do it, and they have that talent. You'll learn a lot, and everything you learn enhances your model making and your finishing off and things like that. So don't forget to join me on the elephant as well. We've got it painted and we've got to add some decals on, and then we'll be doing some weathering on that, and that should be fun. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified as soon as I've got those videos up. That's the next one on the figures, and also the next one on the elephant. So until then, lads, take care, enjoy your modelling, stay safe, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it, because that's what it's all about, lads. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.